In a previous video, Josh checked out the brand new BGA 250
from STIHL.
Yep. And we thought at the end of that video, I thought, do you know what? What is it like up against the Milwaukee dual battery blower and
the Ego LB7650E?
Because they're probably, well, three of the best blowers on the market. Definitely. So we thought you guys are going to want to find out all about it. So in this video, we are going to do a runtime test.
Yep.
Decibel test.
Power test.
Power test.
Weight.
Weight.
Pushback.
One of them.
So to keep it fair, we are going to test the blowers with similar watt hours or watt hour batteries. So on the Ego, we got 280 watt hours. On the STIHL, it's 281 watt hours. And on the Milwaukee, there's two batteries on there, and each battery equates to 144 watt hours. So that's 288 in total. So the three setups we got here are between 280 and 288 watt hours. So fairly similar.
I'm guessing you've done your maths this morning.
Just about, hopefully.
Anyway, right. What is a watt hour? What is a watt hour? That's right. What is a watt hour? So you've got your voltage of your piece of equipment. So the voltage of the Ego is 56, the voltage of the STIHL is 36, and the voltage of the Milwaukee is 18. Now you then got your amp hour of your battery. So we've got 8 amp hours in the Milwaukee, we have got 7.2 amp hours in the STIHL, and we have got 5 amp hours in the Ego. So what you do is you times your voltage by your amp hours, and that gives you your watt hours. So I think we better crack on with what first test?
Decibel.
Decibel. Let's do decibel first. So the biggest complaint about petrol leaf blowers is how much noise they make. Now we have a decibel meter here. We are going to go through with each of these beautiful leaf blowers and see what decibel reading they are. And to give a bit of a baseline, a petrol machine is about 95 to 100 decibels. Could be more in some cases. Right, which one should we do first?
Let's do Ego first.
Ego first. 92.7. 90.4, 86.2.
Now moving on to the swinger meter. Everyone likes a bit of swinging, don't they, in their free time? Well, do they? I
thought you were going to call it a pushback test. So.
It is a pushback test. So we've rigged it up here on the shed, and we're going to engage full throttle and see how far the blower pushes back. So think of it as your arm being pushed back when you're using it, so leading into that fatigue. So first up is going to be the Ego. Let's give it a go.
Let's put the power on and swing away.
Right, it's very scientific this, because we can mark our straight line where the blower starts, and then James can come in with his beautiful magic pens and mark and see where the swinger meter ends. Ego up first.
Ho-ho!
And Milwaukee. Oh, now the STIHL.
So that begs the question, does more pushback mean more power? And what does that result mean?
Well, has STIHL won or has it lost?
Let's go to the next test. Ball test. Let's put it above the blower, see how far it can go, and then I'll measure it. Ego up first. 2 meters 30. Milwaukee. Where did he go? Hold it steady, old chum. I say like a 210.
210.
2 meters 10. Hey, you bugger. STIHL. Oh. Oh. I'm going to give that a steady 240.
Right, so moving on to our next test, we are going to do wind speed measured in meters per second. We got the anometer and we got a little fangita, which we're going to put on the end of the nozzle and check and see how much speed we get.
You go up first.
35.8. 35.83.
Nice. Right, Milwaukee.
35.58.
Oh,
Close.
still.
Go again.
Did it not like that?
I think it blew the scale off.
Okay.
We can't actually read it. It's that much
Well, let's
force.
try it just lower then. Yeah, I'll do it without boost. Boost.
So it's above 40 meters per second because it got to about
44.
38.
It goes to 44 then.
Does it?
I think so.
.41, I should have thought. So we can't actually measure that, but
Can't
we know
measure
it's
that.
powerful.
More powerful than the others. Well, higher wind speed than the others. Interesting. Now, the first thing that's going to fatigue when using any leaf blower is that your arm is going to start aching. So let's see how much they weigh. What have we got on for the Ego first then, Josh?
The Ego up. Ego weighs in at 4.6 kilos.
4.6. Next up is the Milwaukee.
The Milwaukee weighs in at 5.2 kilos. And now the STIHL
And the STIHL,
weighs in at 4.6 kilos.
same as the Ego.
Definitely. Now on to the last test, and probably the most important test, and the one that you'll be asking will be how long do these leaf blowers actually last?
Now, battery blowers are known for consuming or depleting the batteries quicker than pretty much any other product on the market. So it's going to be a very interesting test. Now, obviously, once your battery runs out, you can just have another battery and carry on again. Now, a lot of people in our comments seem to forget that, and they think that, you know, their petrol product will last all day, but then they go and fill it up with petrol. Whereas the battery product, you can just put another battery in. So it depends on your circumstance. So we have these balls on the end as indicators. So when we start the test, the balls will go up, and when the batteries run out, they'll drop back down again.
Now, it is worth noting that we have charged all the batteries up. So we have got that AP300S battery in the STIHL. We got the 2 8-amp-hour batteries in the Milwaukee, and we got the 5-amp-hour battery in the Ego.
Right, let's fire them up and
Set
see
sail.
how long they go.
Machine foaming under the sun. Tools in hand, we're getting things done. Chainsaws roaring, tractors roll. Takers digging deep in our soul. We're machinery nation, proud and tall. Cutting grass, digging soil, drilling all. With every tool we rise and stand. Builders of dreams in this great land. Engines turn the metal shine. Labors of love in every line. Mowers singing a grassy tune underneath the silver moon. We're machinery nation, proud and tall. Cutting grass, digging soil, drilling all. With every tool we rise and stand. Builders of dreams in this great land. No task too tough, no job too small. We'll tackle it together, we won't fall. With grease and grit and iron might, we light up the darkest night.
So that is all of our tests complete. And to be fair, I think it's probably one of the most equal and fair comparison videos we've ever done.
With 3 of the biggest brands of battery products that you can get on the market.
Exactly that. So you've seen the results, but now I think we should look at it from a usability point of view, and we'll talk to you about our views on each product. So Josh, the STIHL
Start
came
with
out
the STIHL.
very well in all the, well, most of the tests.
Yeah,
didn't it?
powerful blower, isn't it? There's no getting away from
Lots
that.
of guff there, isn't it?
Yep, nice
Yeah.
controls. Nice and stubby.
Yes,
Nice
yes,
and
not
short,
too long.
Nice and compact.
Now, one thing I don't like about it is that where the wind goes in at the back, if you want to use this two-handed and you want to hold it against yourself, it's actually sucking and drawing in the wind from there and restricting it. So perhaps someone who isn't a little bit stronger might struggle with that because it's there and right up against your your coat, whereas with the Milwaukee and the Ego, you've actually got the batteries there, so you're not actually hindering
the
that airflow going into the machine.
That's it, and it's obviously classed as a professional machine, so you have got to run it with the AP batteries, whereas the other two machines, obviously they run on any of their batteries that they produce.
Yeah.
So it kind of limits you if you're a domestic user and you want something a little bit more powerful than what they can offer in the AK system.
Whereas on obviously the Milwaukee, if you're a builder or you've got site work or you've already got the Milwaukee platform and you're not necessarily in the landscaping market or OPE market, then the batteries you've already got are going to fit it and go straight in.
It makes it that much more cost effective to get into that sort of, you know, that model and type of machine.
Now on the Ego and on the STIHL, you have got to press a different button for boost, haven't you? Whereas on the Milwaukee, you've got the trigger, but on the top, you've got your throttle lock, and it's just one feature. You haven't got to press another button to go into turbo mode, which I do really, really like. And also your heads-up display on your battery level, I do quite like.
Yeah, and the balance there, you see, is sat just lovely there, isn't it? And the batteries are a lot smaller than the STIHL and the Ego.
But the runtime.
And the runtime.
Runtime was very, very good.
Amazing runtime.
It was good, but obviously not as powerful as, definitely not as powerful as the STIHL. So it's, you know, you've got runtime, but you haven't got as much power. So there's obviously something that you've got to weigh up, which is more important to you.
Yep.
Now the Ego, probably the nicest blower to hold, balance-wise, and for sort of just being able to use it. Everything seems to be quite streamlined in it. Really, really like that.
You mentioned about the handle.
The handle, yes. So using it two-handed, you've got another handle there, whether you're right-handed or left-handed. You can actually use that and actually use it, and again, put it back against your body and not being in the way of that airflow going through the machine, which I really, really like. So one thing to really bear in mind is obviously we used it with a 5 amp hour battery. Now, probably if you're running a lot of the garden products, you've probably got 7.5 amp hours or 10 amp hour batteries. And that would obviously increase your runtime massively.
Which is the same to be said with any of these as well. Yes. You could put an AP500S battery in the STIHL.
Yes.
You could put 12 amp hour forges in the Milwaukee, which is going to be
even more
incredible.
Yep.
And you could put a 12 amp hour Ego in the Ego.
Yeah. The one thing to bear in mind is Ego, and we have used it already, have just launched a absolutely super blower, which is two-handed on the top.
Like a cannon.
It is like a cannon. So this is the oldest product we've got here out of all three of them. The Milwaukee twin battery was released last year, and that has only just been released. So yeah, the Ego is definitely the oldest product in the lineup, but they've got new blowers coming out. So looking forward to getting our hands on that one.
So I think that concludes our blower comparison.
But what we'd like to know from you in the comments below is, have we missed a blower in this lineup that you think would beat these or be better than these, or one that you perhaps prefer? So let us know in the comments below.
There we go. We are Machinery Nation. We bring you product videos every week all about tools and machinery. We hope you enjoyed the video. Drop us a comment below, subscribe to the channel, like this video, and we'll see you in the next one.
Cheerio.